to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, and joining us here on the show today is Calvin Schwartz. Calvin, how you doing today?
Hey, it's Friday and I love it. Of course, when you get to be my age, every day is the same. Every hour is the same. So it could be 9 in the morning, 9 at night. So it's Friday, but I'm a happy guy. We got football to watch this weekend. So I am fine, Kate.
Great to hear. Yes, it's going to be an exciting weekend for sure. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in being a award-winning author. Kind of walk us through your story.
Sure. Real fast. I went to Rutgers College of Pharmacy and I graduated in 1969. So you all can do the math and figure out I'm kind of an old timer. And I did pharmacy for 12 years. And I woke up one morning because I'm a very spiritual guy and something told me to quit pharmacy. So I quit pharmacy. And I actually tried to become an actor. That career lasted 3 seconds when they handed me a script to read an audition for a play. After reading 3 words, they said, "Thank you, we'll call you." They never called me. End of my acting career. I sat home for a long time, and then I got a job selling eyeglasses, of all things. And before I knew it, within a year, I'm working for the biggest eyewear company in the world called Luxottica Group. They own LensCrafters and Pearl and Ray-Ban and everything in the eyewear business. I spent 25 years working for the richest Italian in the world, and I learned so much from this most amazing man and this amazing company. And near the end of my time there, another spiritual thing, I watched the movie Casablanca, and before I know it, at the end of the movie, there's a scene, and Humphrey Bogart shoots the bad guy, and I grabbed my head and I yelled, "Oh my God!" And my wife said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "There's a novel. There's a novel in my head." So I came down here, sat in this chair, and out of the clear, random blue universe, I wrote my first novel, which was called Vichy Water, and it was based on my having watched the movie Casablanca, and Vichy Water, and I knew nothing about writing, Caden, nothing, and I just spit it out, and took me 5 years. It got published. I did nothing with it, and then I had this great epiphany, this great light bulb go off. I retired from Luxottica. I'm already well into Social Security, and I said to myself, "Why don't I become a journalist? What do I got to lose?" So before I knew it, here in Jersey, and I live 20 minutes away from Asbury Park, the Springsteen birthplace kind of thing, and all of a sudden I'm a journalist writing for a couple of magazines, hanging out in Asbury Park 3, 4 times a week, and it's a whole new world. I had a cable TV talk show, and I'm bringing in national type guests, and actually one of my guests early on was Frankie Previtt, who won an Academy Award for the music in Dirty Dancing. So I'm just having a grand old time with no training, no nothing. Just enjoying myself and life. And along the way, I became a professor at Rutgers a few years ago and started a podcast. And then I wrote my second novel, There's a Tortoise in My Hair, which is getting all kinds of awards these days. And that's my life story, Caden.
Can you tell us a little bit about your novel, There's a Tortoise in My Hair, A Journey to Spirit, that was published in 2023? Can you talk a little bit about this new novel?
Sure. Uh, it would take me about 5 hours, which you don't have, to talk about
Give us the
this.
long story short,
A
Calvin.
real short story. I've been privileged and gifted to have some very unusual spiritual things happen to me. And I always tell people I'm a regular guy. I go to Rutgers football games, Rutgers basketball games. I watch old movies. I love tuna fish subs. I'm a regular guy, but I've been gifted with a lot of spirituality to the point where 6 weeks ago I actually wrote the Pope, the new Pope, Pope Leo, because I wanted to explain some of these spiritual things and healing and all this. So I decided 7 years ago, I think I ought to tell the story. I ought to tell the story of this spiritual journey because it's different and it's interesting, and I outlined it, and it's called "There's a Tortoise in My Hair: A Journey to Spirit." It's a fictional autobiography, but there's a lot of me in it. Even the back cover is something I drew in 1970. I drew the back cover because back when I was in school, there was a thing going on in Southeast Asia called Vietnam. So it's a lot of me goes into that, telling the story and kind of mixing it in with a lot of this spiritual stuff. And my journey to become a parent was not a traditional journey. So that's all mixed in there. There's a lot of lessons. The main lesson I would love people to take out of that is there's something beyond our realm. And we're not really given a lot of information about it, but there's something there, things that kind of defy uh, uh, reason and statistics and probability, just things beyond our realm. And that's what I write about.
That's incredible. Now, Calvin, where can people learn about you and your book and everything? Where can people come check you out?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn. I spent a lot of years developing and working LinkedIn. So, I'm Calvin Schwartz on LinkedIn. It's I have a website for my book. It's calvinschwartz.com. My novel is on Amazon. And by the way, I don't know if I even had a chance to tell you, long, long, long story, but I'm collaborating now with a best-selling author, the Trailer Park series, Kay Wagner. She and I are collaborating because she felt I ought to write another book about the things that I learned working for the wealthiest Italian in the world. So this thing is going to be published in October. It's called 10 Things I Learned from the Billionaire. So this is hot off the presses. It's written. We finished editing it, and we're just now gonna come up with a cover. But people can find me on Facebook. I'm Cal Schwartz on Facebook. I love social media. I love hanging out there. I spend tremendous amounts of time there. So I'm really easy to find.
That's incredible. Now, do you have any upcoming future book plans? What can we look forward to you from you in the future?
Well, as I just mentioned, this is coming out. 10 Things I Learned from the Billionaire is coming out in October. And then right after that, I'm going to put 10 things I learned about adoption because I adopted my son. My wife and I were on a many, many year journey to become parents. A lot of traditional things didn't work, so we adopted our son when he's a day old. So I want to write about that. And then there's another book that was suggested to me, 10 Things You Didn't Know About Cal Schwartz. You don't know this, but way back, I crashed a Prince concert at Club USA. He came on at 2 in the morning. I crashed it because it was only for celebrities and VIPs. And in those days, my hair was down to my shoulders, and I looked exactly like Howard Stern because I'm 6'5" and Howard Stern is 6'5". So I went ahead and I put on sunglasses, put on a black leather coat, got in line, and they, how you doing, man? And boom, there I am, 2 feet away from Prince because I looked like Howard Stern and I never took off my sunglasses. So there's a lot of these adventures that are interesting adventures. Hey, I crashed a movie with Meryl Streep and Renee Zellweger, and I'm in it, and I'm the biggest thing in the scene. So there's a lot of really interesting anecdotal stories, Kayden, that are funny and there's some lessons to be learned. So I have about 4 books more I'd like to write. Keeps me busy. I'm a senior citizen. I don't drink prune juice. So this way it keeps my mind working and gives me stuff to do.
Definitely. Now, where do you want to be in your career, or if you've already accomplished this in your career, tell us about that. But where do you want to be in your career, like the next couple years, where you could just be like, I made it?
Great question. That's a great question. A lot of people ask me that all the time. I'd like to be in a position, and I'd like to be better known where I can help Gen Zs. I used to mentor students, and I love that. And I think I have so much to give back and share and teach And so I'd like to have a little bit more recognition. I'd like to be able to do more for Gen Zs and communication and stuff. So, and you know what? Uh, I'd like to sell some books and look back and say, hey, I'm selling some books. People know who I am. I know the whole world of book selling. It's all about sometimes who you know and a couple of breaks here and there. And you've been very helpful for me getting me interviewed. I have a great message, and I'd like to share that message with as many people as I can. It's an interesting message. It's about reinvention. It's about longevity. I've been practicing longevity techniques since 1969. I take 60 supplements a day, and that's a lot of stuff. So I've been doing, and I have zero coronary artery plaque. So I'd like to be in a place where more people can learn from me because I've learned a lot. That's where I'd like to be to teach.
Incredible. Calvin, is there anything that I forgot to mention that you would like to mention before we go today?
Uh, you know what? You did good. You covered the essence. I want to do some more writing. I'd like people to get to know me better. I'd love people to read some of my stuff. I'm really a hands-on guy. People can reach out to me. I'm hugely responsive, and we can chat and talk. And again, for people who are in middle age, I got all kinds of great advice and stuff that I've learned about. A lot of people my age are sitting in nursing homes. Kayden. They're sitting in nursing homes watching TV all day, and I'm writing books and teaching and doing all this stuff at 80 years old. So you kind of nailed it. These are the things I'd like to do. I'd like to share a lot of the stuff that I've learned and stuff that I've done because I think it can help some people on their journey.
Calvin Schwartz, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show today's Best Country Mix. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to being on your show here
I
very soon.
would love that, Kayden. Thank you. Thank you.